Hi everyone, I'm an architecture student and this is my final 2 weeks of my first semester in year 2. I tend to spend a lot of time in studio, so here's a rare side of me cleaning up, preparing to go home. As soon as I got home, I got started on printing structural elements for my final model. Due to the nature of my design featuring structurally kind of unsound elements, being that they're all in slants, I decided on 3D printing so that I could achieve the most clean and, well, structurally stable design. This was my first time attempting any slants of any kind, so once I found out that my stairs were a success, I was really happy. However, the worst part about 3D printing has to be the processing. I mean, look at all the strings. There were so many strings to get through, and it took really long, so enjoy the sped up process. You may be wondering, why even try slanted stairs if they're so hard to build? Well, I have no answer to that. New location, the workshop. So I haven't been back in the workshop for a really long time, like almost a whole semester. And guess what I'm back for? Structure. Exciting. So I worked on cutting all my structural pieces and yeah. Now welcome to the laser cutting machine. So the laser cutting machine has been my best friend throughout this semester, and according to the brief, we were supposed to make a building that was inspired by aggregation units. So what this means is that the different units are placed on top of each other, repeating this pattern. And I wanted to do it a bit differently by aggregating in terms of lines instead of by the area itself. So what I did was that I'm using these platforms as a base where I connect them by lines, as you can see in this laser cutting file that I'm editing right now. As we jump location back to home, you may be wondering, why are your plans not flat? Oh, did I mention? These are floor plans. Well, when you start doing slanted units, you don't really get a flat floor plan because half your unit is covered when you try to do one. So yeah, finished that and I moved on to making my laser cutting files for all the slanted units that I had to do because we're on a tight schedule and laser cutting is the next day. So here I am rushing them out through the night. I can do this, yes. And now we're back at the laser cutters. And honestly, I could have cut them out in a much more efficient way, but I did what I could. This was good. So here I've ambushed another studio that has an amazing view. Honestly, this is amazing compared to what I have because I'm sealed within 4 walls, and I am starting to get to work on the remainder of my laser cutting files that I didn't manage to get done the night before. And yeah, it's a really tedious process because I had to draw out every single line manually, being that they were all odd shapes and I couldn't forget my music, of course. And yeah, enjoy me placing them out. When my laser cutting pieces are finally ready, I get started on cutting them out because why? Our laser cutting machines aren't amazing, and honestly, half my boards were kind of ruined. And yeah, look at my little hands being all... I look like Dobby, like from Harry Potter. Like literally, Dobby. The same posted again comes out, yep, structure. I can do it. You can do this. Yeah, I was not in a good state of mind, but you can see all the different colors that I had to use in my unit plans because of the line weights. Okay, now I'm back home, dumping out all of my laser cutting pieces. Yep, I know what you're thinking. How are you gonna sort through this? My answer, green tape. Yes, green tape solves everything. It does, of course. Yep. Yes. This is me contemplating life. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna do it? I don't know, but I ended up finishing this whole bunch and taping the similar pieces all together. Guess what? Guest appearance! 3D printing stairs again. ASMR incoming. Yum. So now I'm using Uhu glue to glue my wood panels together. That is because my wood panels are about 40 cm long and I cannot Korean glue so much. Look at the amount of glue I had to use. And honestly, Uhu glue had the best consistency, in my opinion, for these wood panels that I had at the moment. I know wood glue would have been a better decision, but nah, who has time for that? So here I am gluing them all together, pressing them down, and we move on to the hardest part. My aggregation units. My lovely aggregation units. So I'm gluing the slanted stairs into the interior of one of the units, and this ended up being the only unit with these interior stairs because I had a lot of units to finish, mostly because it was a sectional model. Here's a little sneak peek in my hand renders as well. Moving back to the physical model, did I mention this model is actually a sectional model? So that means I had to split the whole building that was already complicated in two. So here I am fixing up one of the units, and I had used one of my structural pieces that I 3D printed. I know it looks very badly processed right now, but it's because it wasn't processed at all. So I'm using it to actually place my units because of the weird angle that it is at, and it cannot stand without gluing it down with the structural unit first. So I'm using a liberal amount of glue on my units, trying to conserve whatever glue I had left. This was a really dark time for the amount of glue I had because I was honestly running real low. Yep, so here's me finishing up this unit. It looks like it's an unfinished unit, but it's actually done because the other half is on the other side. And we're now teleported to printing. This was on the day before the final crit, and we were all in a mad rush to print, but I had to take a bit of time out. And this bit of time ended up taking almost the whole day, but I ended up getting all my boards printed. And now we're back home to finish up the remainder of. I then proceeded to cut the pillars that were meant to fit in between the different platforms. So these pillars are actually all slanted as well to fit the language of the units, and they are placed in certain areas that the platforms need the extra help to stay balanced. So here I am applying the Korean glue and then applying it to the model itself. Soon you will see a very on-edge moment. Here it is. I hope your heart didn't jump out of your chest because mine did. I then proceeded to decorate the whole space with garden areas. So I had designated some of the areas to be filled with greenery so that I could have open gardens throughout the building. This would include the first level as well as the middle level. So here I am placing it on the middle level if I'm not wrong. And we're at final crit. So we just skipped a whole bunch of trauma at night, but yeah, we're finally here. So that's my whole setup, my structure, my process models, and finally introducing the Forbidden Diagon Alley. Congratulations of making it through the whole video without knowing the title of this project. And you might be thinking, is it related to Harry Potter at all, being that it's called Diagon Alley? Well, no, I just really like diagonal spaces, and I found it really interesting how I could make alleys out of these diagonal areas. All in all, my first semester in year 2 was a blast. It was hard, but I mean, who hasn't had a few hard times? It was a really interesting time of how I was able to explore my architectural limits, and I hope to be able to do more in the future. And guess what? I've learned so much about the technicalities of buildings. I think I can be a structural engineer. Just kidding! Well, this is it for now. See you soon in semester 2. Bye!